Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity. I welcome myself back. Thank you for the vacation. Grateful to be with you again. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit more about my trip later today. And welcome to all of you online. Thanks for making time whenever it is on your calendar to be with us. We know that you're busy, and we're glad that you take time anytime to be with us. We feel your energy, and we send our love out to all that are watching online, and we just appreciate you sending it this way. So we'll just open up our hearts this morning and see what Spirit has in store for us. If I haven't gotten a chance to meet you yet, I'm Kitty Benson, the minister here at Unity, and it's my joy to be part of this extraordinary community, including our awesome band, Highest Good. Yes. Thanks to our tech team. It looks like Parker and Cindy and Susan are back there today, so thank you all. And to all the volunteers that helped create this Sunday service, thank you, thank you, thank you. One of the things we like to do first is sing. What's our first song today?
Way up. Way up.
Way up. You know what I think of when we sing this song is I think of graduates. Graduates who are just leaving. I've got a nephew that just graduated from nursing school this week. So, way up for him, next step higher. But we're all going through these stages. I'm so glad you chose this song because it's going to talk very much about what my message is today. Just see where you fit into the lyrics, will you? And just check and see how it applies to your life. And if you'd like to stand and sing, if that feels good, great. If it's more comfortable to sit, that's good too. Let's sing.
Guys ready? Good morning, everyone. Ready to take it higher? Yes? Now let me hear you. Ready to take it higher? Yeah. Here we go. Way up, higher, way up. Here I go. Way up before I know it. I am rising to new horizons. Way up. Here I go, way up, before I know it. I am rising to new horizons, way up. And I am graduating to another level. I am ready to rise, 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 rise. I cut the rope. Falling from me, I am beginning to fly, 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 fly way up, higher, way up. Here I go, way up, before I know it. I am rising to new horizons, way up. I am graduating another level. I am ready to rise, 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 rise. I cut the rope. Fear is falling from me. I am beginning to fly, 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 fly way up, higher, way up. Here I go, way up, before I know it. Before I know it, I am rising to new horizons, way up. Oh. Choosing higher this morning? Higher, higher, and higher. And I know we don't do it on our own. We rely on the grace and the movement of Spirit in us and through us and as us. Yes? Oh, that's the goodness. That's the grace right there.
All right. There it is.
sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Yeah. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. Let's sing that chorus again. You are beautiful. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Yeah. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You are so good to me. You heal my broken heart. You are my Father in heaven. You are so good to me. You heal my broken heart. You are my mother in heaven. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You're right upon the clouds. You lead me to the truth. You are the spirit inside me. You ride upon the clouds. You lead me to the truth. You are the spirit inside me. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Yeah. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You are my strong melody. You are my dancing rhythm. Yeah. You are my perfect rhyme. And I will sing of you forever. You fill me with your love. You fill me with your light.
Fill me with your
You
light.
are the one that lives through me. Oh, you fill me. You fill me with
You
your
fill
love.
me with your
You fill
love.
me with
You
your
fill
light.
me with your
You
light.
are the one that lives through me. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Yeah. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. And we'll sing it again. You are beautiful. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You are the spirit around me. You are the spirit within me. You are the one that lives through me.
Will you join me in prayer, please? Loving Spirit, everywhere present, we behold that love within us and all around us. The mother of the heart, the wisdom of the Father, all part of our own being. And we allow that presence and power to express freely through us this day and every day. As we know, there is only one presence in the universe, and it is God, and it is good. It is light, and it is love. It is strength, and it is beauty. It is wisdom and it is peace. And so it is. Amen. Let's speak this invocation that confirms that for us up here on the screen. Together, there's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated.
I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God.
With the heart of the mother, I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the Father.
I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day. Do we have any moms out there? Any moms out there? The sun is pointing to the mother. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. I am not a mom, and every once in a while I go to my sister's house, which is where I spent some of my vacation time this week, seeing her be a mom. She's got 4 kids that are grown now, and all have married, and some have kids. So I get to witness, the whole mothering thing in a lot of different ways. And also, they're all going through stages in their life. Her kids are going through various stages in their life. Sons and daughters, fathers and mothers, the children, the grandchildren, all going through different stages. And I want to speak to that today. I've actually asked moms on Facebook to answer a few questions for me that I'll include today from their perspective. And I especially asked moms whose kids are grown or at least don't need so much of your attention right now. And so, what is life like for you now? You know, how has things changed for you? What's going on in your mind right now since that role has become something very different? But we all have those moments where life changes and we have different experiences because of that. And that's where I want to go with this today. We're all given an opportunity at every change to stop and say, who am I now? Who am I now? Who am I now that I just graduated from nursing school, like my nephew just did, but also just married like a year ago, and he and his wife are both finishing graduate school at the same time. So who am I now that I'm a new spouse? Or, another one of her children I actually went to a baby shower for, expecting a child in June. So who am I now that I'm about to be a mother? And her husband's probably asking the same question. Who am I when I'm ready to be a father? How does that change me and my life? And you might be moving into a new relationship. You might be exiting a relationship. Who am I now with this person in or out of my life? A lot of times early on in life, we 18 to 40, that's the big stuff. That's the graduation, finding the partner, buying the new house, starting a new career, and maybe deciding to have kids. And then you start spending money because you have to acquire all these things to make life more comfortable. Lots of things going on from that first half of adult life that makes a lot of demands on us. Who am I now in the middle of all that? One of our moms said that it's very hard to take the time to reflect on who you are and who you want to be when you're in the midst of work and kids and sports, and it goes on. Life just seems to happen. Can you relate to that? You just get hit by life in every direction. And she's actually going through a situation now where her daughter's graduating from college and she's retiring. So they're both, how did she put it? We're both discovering who we are again and who we want to be when we grow up or grow old or both. Yeah, that's a big moment in our lives. And it's not always easy to remember to take the time to say, who am I now in this? And then you get to midlife. Have you heard the word midlife crisis? Why do you think that happens? Anybody have an idea? Midlife crisis. Why does that come upon us? What is it? It's radical change because a lot of those things that were happening to us in our first half of adult life have settled down and they're not distracting us anymore, and it gives us more time to think and ask those questions about what happens to me next. At this point, let's say mid-40s, your career's pretty settled. If you're in a partnership, you know each other so well that you can finish each other's sentences. You're not looking for that first home. You're probably looking to maybe remodel. My sister just went through that. She downsized a home to a country house, but then she added on another wing, so to speak. It could be a time where you start looking at your savings account and say, hey, now that the kids are gone, I can spend more money. Or now that I'm almost retired, I need to start saving more money, right? And there's those, when the kids are out and out of the house or graduated from college, who am I now without the kids at home? So one of our moms on Facebook said that it's time for me to do more self-care and to focus on what interests me, and to take a look at some of my old hobbies or maybe some of my new hobbies, which ones are speaking to me, and follow my heart at this point in life. And then we get to that place where we're at retirement age, and my brother, for instance, someone else I saw this week, he and his wife, she's still working, but he just retired, so they've downsized and moved to a totally new town, well, actually his childhood home. And that's a big shift, especially when your spouses are in different workplaces. So one is ending the career and one is just kind of on autopilot because she's done it for so long. So there's a few other steps that we take at that stage in life, but another opportunity to say, who am I now? And I'm just going to ask you to go back to that crossroads at 40-ish, because that's where the pressure eases up and we do have more time to think about who am I now? So what if we checked on that, just say, where am I going? What am I planning on doing? And we have to be careful because this is also a season where we can get tempted to move into a new stage of distractions. So for instance, your children are now having children and you want to be giving all your attention to being a grandparent for the first time. Yes, you can probably relate to that. Or it could be that your kids aren't moving out of the house. And what do I do with this? It could be that your kids have moved out, but they're involved, you miss them, so you want to be involved in their life, so you're hanging out more with them. Or it could be that your parents have moved in with you because they need more care. Who am I now in this stage? What if you're in those mid-years and you're still just all consumed with your career? You're still trying to get up to the top of that ladder and have it be so important to you and to everybody around you that now you're a workaholic as you're reaching for the peak. And maybe you're just so in debt that you need to keep working, even though technically you're at the age where you should be retiring. Maybe your relationship has ended and you're trying to figure out who to be as a single person. There's an opportunity for us in these mid-40s, 50s, 60s where we can retire and buy a motorhome and start living out on the road, sell the house, be footloose and fancy-free. And that's a distraction in itself. It could be fun, but it's a distraction perhaps to who I am in this experience. It's also a chance for you to maybe find new love in your life. Have you seen someone get into their 50s, 60s, and they reconnect with an old flame, or they just happen to find the love of their life at this point? And that can be all-consuming. And all of this is good stuff. It's good when you are enjoying life at different stages. However, what might happen is that when we get to the end of life and we leave the body, we discover that we had some fun here, but we didn't necessarily learn what we came here to learn. And I'm not saying don't have fun. Trust me on this. I'm saying as you're having fun, check in with your spirit. And maybe up here on the screen, here's the question: who am I now that I know I'm eternal? How might that change your point of view? Who am I now that I know that I'm eternal? Our soul is growing no matter what you're aware of or not aware of. It's just that when you get out of the body, you can see, okay, that didn't really serve my purpose as much as what I meant to do when I was here. So if we can ask that question, who am I now that I remember I'm eternal, then you have a better chance of actually focusing in on your reason for being here and letting it express itself, your spirit, as it was designed to. So what I want to do today is use our 5 basic principles of unity to help guide us through this process, to continue to ask that question. Because most of us will move through whatever stage thinking the outside world has power over me and that it's in charge of deciding how much money I make or how healthy I am or how long I'll be in this relationship. But our spiritual principles point us in a different direction that's healthy and that actually gives us a chance to express the way our spirit intended to express. So we're going to start with the first principle of unity, which has something to do with that thing we say here every Sunday morning that reminds us there's only one presence. So when we get up in the morning, instead of thinking about what's awaiting us in fear or frustration, we awaken to the presence that is here to say, I am ready to support, to be whatever it is that you need in this moment. This presence of life is meant to be the healing energy in your body. This presence of love is meant to be the harmonizing factor of your life. Whatever it is that we need, we go to spirit first and remember that this is the power that is working in the universe. Nothing and no one can stand between me and the omnipresence of God and God's good. That's a good way to start. So nothing is working against me even when I'm going through a divorce. Yes. Even when I'm facing a layoff, There is still a power, a presence of divine energy waiting to provide my every need. Nothing's working against me. As a matter of fact, the only force that's working in the universe is love, and it's working for my good right now, even when my kid just moved across the country, or even when my kid won't move out of his bedroom. There is still an acknowledgement that the only force working in this life, in my children's lives, in all people's lives, is God. It's good. So let's say our first principle together up here on the screen. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. That right there should allow you to take a breath. Oh, what a relief. There is no power working against me. It's all God. It's all good. And then we look more closely at the second principle because it's a principle that is that omnipresence expressing as us, not with us, not next to us, not for us, but as us. That omnipresence is the Spirit of God within us. And if you're really awake at this moment, your question should be, so why do I behave badly? If that presence of God is within me and trying to express as me, why do I have behaved badly? Why do I fail? Why do I criticize? Why do I hurt others? Why do I make bad choices? Well, because your expression of God is living in a human body with a human brain and a human ego, and it gets in the way. It tries to run things for us unless we're awake and remember the second principle, which is about our true nature. That presence of God has to live through us because we allow it to. We're consciously aware of it and we're allowing it to. So if we want to experience God's love in our relationships, if we want to experience life and health and well-being in our bodies, or a supply, a stream of good that's constantly flowing through our lives, we have to be aware not only of that presence everywhere, but in me and as me. So that actually is going to point us away from the I am not enough belief that our human self wants to say, that life is a struggle and I'm unworthy. It's going to remind us that there is a higher presence, that I am. I don't have to settle for that. God's infinite potential is my infinite potential. Always, always. I'm here not to be a mom for my child's entire life, to hover over them, but to see their infinite potential and to give them power to stand in their own potential, to tap into their own inner guidance, because they have the same presence of infinite God within them. We forget that sometimes as parents, because we were so careful to protect them and guide them as young ones that now that they're moving into adulthood, it's hard to let that go. And one of our moms talked about that, where she's in a situation where her adult child hasn't left home yet, finished college, now what? And they're just trying to find a way. She's trying to find a way to let him become an adult and make his own decisions and not always have to be there to tell him how to get through things. She's talking about, for herself, learning to let go. And as a spiritual being, we're here not to keep repeating mistakes, but listening to our inner wisdom. Because we have it within us. We're not here to do what's safe all the time, but we're here, no matter how old we are, to keep learning, to keep growing, to keep creating, and trusting that our kids have that ability to do it as well. That we are worthy of love and joy and abundance, no matter who we are or how old we are. And this is our spiritual principle number 2 up here on the screen. We are each individual, eternal expressions of God, and therefore inherently good. And our third principle is critical. It's actually a principle that's working all the time. It's a divine law. And whether we're aware of it or not, it's meant to provide for our good. I think this is the most ingenious thing of divine mind, to create a law that fills our every need. And it's one that's working whether we know it or not, so we are better off knowing it. One of the things that Jesus taught when he was explaining this law, he used very few words, but in the book of Luke, chapter 8, up here on the screen, while Jesus was still speaking, someone came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. He's actually talking with Jairus, and someone comes from Jairus' house and says, "Your daughter is dead. Don't bother the teacher anymore." Hearing this, Jesus said to Jairus, "Do not fear, only believe, and she will be saved." Now, this last line here that I've highlighted is Jesus explaining how the divine law works. And if you had to pick one word in that statement that's in yellow that you would label as one of the most important words, which one would you choose? Believe. Any other opinions? Weirdly, what came to me this time when I read it was the word "and." Because Jesus didn't just say, "I will save her," right? And he didn't say, "Don't fear and she will be saved," right? He didn't say, "Only believe and she will be saved." He paired it all together, and the word "and" is in between. And it's a word that says, if you do this and you do this, then this will happen. So the two main things he's saying is let your fear go and start believing. If you will do both those things, then she will be saved. She won't be saved if you don't do those things. So the responsibility is on us, right? We're the ones that have to let fear go and believe, and we will see the result that we're seeking. So just metaphysicalize that. It doesn't have to be somebody raised from the dead, but anything that's basically expressing the fullness of our divine potential, that's all available to us if we will let fear go and believe in this presence and power, this first principle, and this second principle, that the power is within us, and then we can create that which our higher self is calling us into. So that's a simple explanation of that divine law, that we create our experiences through our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And I think that it's easier for us to move into this, I've got the job, and I don't have the job. I don't understand why I don't have the job. I've got the job, I don't have the job. Well, one of the things when he said release fear reminds us we need to check in with our feelings about whether we have the job or not. The feelings are really your litmus test as to whether you believe or not. So we may want to believe, but our feelings may say something different, which means we believe something different, in which this comes from the book of Mark, chapter 9. A man is asking Jesus about healing his son, and he says, "If you can do anything, take pity on us and help us." "If you can," said Jesus, "everything is possible for one who believes." Immediately, the boy's father exclaimed, "I do believe, help my unbelief." I think we've all been there. We want to believe, we understand the spiritual principles, but for some reason they're not working for me. What am I doing wrong? And what we're doing wrong most of the time is we're using or misusing the law. We've forgotten that the deepest core of our being that feels is the part that's really believing, and we ignore that and just go with our thoughts. So we may appear loving to that person that's difficult in our life to deal with. At the same time, within us, we're judging silently, and then we can't figure out why they won't do what we want them to do. We may eat healthy, but at the same time, on the inside, we're loathing our body, and then we can't figure out why we can't lose weight. Or we may apply for the job, but at the same time feel hopeless about getting it, and then we can't figure out why they won't hire us, because we're misusing the law against ourselves. Why won't they hire me? What do you really believe about it? So that's the third principle working. We need to be aware of it, that we are using it on a regular basis, and sometimes, oftentimes, against ourselves. So where do we go from here? We go to, well, actually, excuse me, let's say the third principle together. I won't keep it a secret any longer. Let me drink first. All right, together. We create our life experiences through our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Then we go into the fourth principle. Now that we know the third principle, the fourth principle is about using that law purposely, consciously. We use it as prayer. That's how we speak prayer in unity, in order to not change God's mind and try and get God to do something for us, because the law is already working. God's given us the law to do it ourselves. So how are we using it? We want to focus on what we do want, not on what we don't want. So we're using prayer to change our mind, to change those thoughts that have become beliefs, that have become feelings that are getting in our way. And what we do is we focus instead on God's power within us as life and love and substance and intelligence, and affirm that truth until it becomes rock solid in our consciousness. We use prayer to create from, to dream and to imagine. And some of our moms said, I'm in this place now where I'm seeking the next right thing to do. We can use that in prayer time. Freedom to pursue interest, to vision my future through prayer and contemplation. Some moms have talked about finding their purpose this way and found a direction to pursue. Another mom said, it's time to explore my inner life, my spirituality. Now that I've seen spirit express and work in life, I'm more likely to trust and move with that spiritual flow. That's who we become when we use prayer affirmatively. Not as a, where is my thing? Why isn't it happening, God? But I am the life of God expressing. I am the love of God in this relationship. Until we change our mind. So when the child in your relationship won't speak to you, it's not, God, how will this ever get fixed? But God, I am the love in this relationship. I am ready to be that love. I am ready to be an expression of harmony in this relationship. I am harmony in this relationship. When we're struggling with our finances, we are at that point remembering, what is the source of finances? What is the source of things I spend? It's spiritual energy. Where is it? Everywhere present and in me. I affirm that spiritual energy as that which is ready to become my daily bread. That's an affirmative prayer. An affirmative prayer when we're struggling to make a decision is not, I give up, I don't know what to do, but I am divine wisdom in action. My heart and mind are open to God's spiritual guidance, which is the very heart of my own being. That which I'm seeking, I already am. One of our moms said, I'm excited about life and asking, what is mine to do? How can I serve? How can I give back to people and places that gave me a hand up? What makes me laugh? Those are all good questions to ask, and to use prayer to affirm where you want to go with those questions. Remember, your resources have already been given. It's prayer that will change your mind about it and accept the good. That's why a prayer that starts with thank you is a mind that's already received the good. Now you're in alignment with it and you're ready to actually become it. So this is our fourth principle up here on the screen. Prayer, together, prayer is to affirm the truth about God in our lives, heightening our connection to divine mind. Yeah. And our fifth principle is that these are important principles. The first 1 through 4 that we just have talked about, they're important principles, but they really don't do you much good unless you actually apply them. And I'm talking about applying them when you're in trouble. I'm talking about applying them when your kids are changing their status in life, and who are you? When you're finding your new career or you're ending your career, who am I? That's a good time to apply that principle. Any one of these principles will help. So our fifth principle up here on the screen is knowing the truth, together. Knowing the truth is good, living the truth is better. So, who am I now that I know there's only one power working in my life and it's good? Does that change your situation at all? Anyone here who's feeling like someone or something is against you, this is a good question to ask. Who am I now that I remember God is the only power working in my life, and it's good? And the second principle, who am I now that I remember I'm eternal and all things are possible for me? For me, not just for God, because God is expressing as me. Suddenly, you're opening yourself up to a potential that you maybe didn't know you had before. And so when you want this job or you want this new idea, instead of feeling like it's never worked before, I don't really know what I'm doing, instead it's all things are possible because the Christ, the divine mind, lives through and as me. Who am I now that I know I'm creating my life experiences? Ruh-roh. Who am I now that I know I am creating my life experience with my thoughts, my feelings, and my beliefs? Who am I now that I know I can focus my thoughts on what I want instead of what I don't want, that I can affirm truth instead of error? Who am I now that I know that I have that ability through prayer? That's how you exercise the fifth principle, is to go through those first four principles and apply them to whatever it is you're going through. So when you leave today, I want you to have a copy of our principles. It's a bookmark, and on one side it's got the 5 basic principles, the other side it's got Unity's vision and mission and core values, so make sure you grab one when you go out the door today. And just take one of these 5 principles into meditation and see where it takes you. Who am I now? Let's do that right now. Who am I now that I'm going into meditation? Let's find out. It's a good chance for us to just be still and know. I'll invite you to create a soft, easy place in your chair where your hands are open and your feet are connected to the earth beneath you. And remembering our second principle about our own spiritual nature. We begin by remembering I am an eternal being. This life is temporary on planet Earth. It's a blink of the eye compared to my eternal life. Take a breath into that idea of eternal. What does it mean to you? I am eternal. My consciousness never ends. Who is my consciousness? What is my consciousness? An extension of the one presence and power in the universe. I allow myself to see through the eyes of God, of Spirit, of Creator. I look at my life through an eternal lens. Joyful to have this chance, this temporary visit in this physical body, to explore and expand. And as my human nature meets challenge, conflict, argument, hurt, I am still eternal. I am still perfect love. I see only the good here. I desire only good for all beings. And as my human experience is faced with challenge and questions, decisions, confusion, I am perfect wisdom. Before the question is ever asked, I am the answer. In perfect stillness, I know the truth, and my humanity is set free. And while my human self may face sickness, weakness, aging of the body, I am still eternal life. Vital and alive, renewing and refreshing. I am the divine pattern of wholeness and well-being. For God and I are one. This is the truth of my being. This is the I am presence expressing as me, and now I allow it to be. Amen. Who am I now that I remember I am eternal? Just keep letting that question pop up for you this week and see what it brings up for you. Eternal, infinite, hand in hand. See what it will bring up for you in the physical. Don't forget your bookmark on the way out. And we're at a time in our service where we share our tithes and our love offerings. this is always a good time to ask yourself, who am I now when I'm being given the opportunity to give? What is my source of good? Let's take a moment to just make that connection in our own heart of the good that is provided in our lives with gratitude. And am I here in this moment to extend that good into this spiritual community and out into the world that connects with us? If you are watching online, if you'd like to give online, you are a blessing to us just as much as those in the room. And you can do that online at our Facebook page, but also at unityinnaperville.org. Or if you'd like to send a check to our P.O. Box, it's 9733 in Naperville, 60567. Thank you for that. And now we ask everyone to bless this offering. The words are here on the screen. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. If you just take a look at those words for a minute, that's another example of you as an eternal being. It's eternal love blessing what you're giving that expands it and allows it to do greater good. So thank you for working from that point of view today. And I'll invite our ushers to come forward. Thank you.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning. I'm Christina Cannonen, and I'm here to tell you about what's happening now at Unity. Who are we now and what's happening? So, if you're here for the first time, whether you're in person for the first time or online, welcome. We are glad you are with us. No matter where you are, you can connect. And if you want to learn more about what's happening at Unity, sign up for our weekly e-news and for Kitty's twice monthly New Thoughts email by going to our homepage at unityinnaperville.org or email admin@unityinnaperville.org. And now for what's happening. If you're part of our online community, come make new friends and hang out with Reverend Kitty. Yay. For backroom banter today after service, access the Zoom link through the events calendar. Monday morning metaphysics meets when? Yay. Online at 10:30. The group is reading Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Barrand. Each week is a standalone, so drop in anytime. It's always fun to know where your power is. Make sure you can see it. Join Reverend Kitty for Aging with Spirit in person and online Saturday, May 27th at 10 a.m. This is a monthly gathering to explore new ways to move in and through our senior years with jive, joy, insight, vitality, and enthusiasm. Advanced registration is helpful, but it's not required. Register at the info table or see the event calendar. There is a suggested love offering of $10 to $25. Join us on Sunday, May 28th when we go to the patio and we get to eat together, which is fun. And prayer chaplains are available to pray with you by phone or in the prayer room after the service. Email your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and a prayer chaplain will call you today by 1 p.m. If you're here, you just grab the prayer chaplain in the hallway. Okay? For details about all of our events, go to unityinnaperville.org. For questions, email admin@unityinnaperville.org.
Well, we'll close with a song. I invite you to stand as you are able, and we'll sing, God is my source. You know it. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Lord gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Lord gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything. Go ahead and clap and say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. You give me everything that I need.
Amen to that. We're going to say our closing affirmation here today, but I just want to remind you that this is a chance to put this to use in your life. Our 5 principles only work if you use them. So let this sink into your consciousness and have a little fun with it. Up here together. Now that I know I'm eternal, I have a lot more options. Hey, would you, let me just remind you that next Sunday, it's going to be a little quieter, and it's also going to be an opportunity for us to hold some healing for those who might need it. So if you've got friends and family that would just like to be surrounded in healing light, if you want to be the people who surround others with healing light, which is basically, hopefully all of you, just coming in with the consciousness of that, I really would love to see you here. We'll save some front row seats for those that we're going to share our energy with, and it won't be scary or anything, I promise. No one's going to be touching you or anything like that, but just a good chance to slow down, get quiet, and share all that beautiful light that God is with our fellow beingness in light, okay? So I hope you can join us for that. Now, before you go, we just turn and find somebody you haven't met yet, or you forgot their name, and just own up to it. I forgot your name, and how are you, and what'd you do this week? Join us out front for some fellowship. Love you guys. See you in the back room, everybody.